Oh, this is beyond absurd. Steffy doesn't bother to tell anyone about Liam, not even her physician husband, who might actually be helpful in a medical emergency. And she thinks the site doesn't owe her husband a single explanation about why she's ill. Seriously? She's got to be the only one allowed at his bedside. I honestly don't think there's any way I could dislike her more than I already do. I just need some bad things to happen to her already. And quick note to the writers, she doesn't need to be front and center every single day. Please, for the love of TV, we get it. This show isn't The Bold and the Beautiful anymore. It's turned into As Steffy Turns the Screw. And yes, I know she called Finn about Liam, but let's be real. Liam doesn't want anyone to know about his injury, so maybe we can just keep it to ourselves, huh? Liam's decision to keep his condition a secret is just classic Liam. Sure, I get that he doesn't want to scare the kids, but really? Not even telling Hope, the mother of his other daughter, Beth? Does he honestly think Hope won't be asking where the father of her child is? She has every right to know, just as much as Steffy does. But of course, Liam's logic is as twisted as ever. It would be nice if Steffy could put her petty feud with Hope aside, just for a second, for the sake of Liam and the kids. This is a golden opportunity for some peace, or at least some civility, between the two of them. After all, they're both part of this blended family now, whether they want to admit it or not. They both care about Liam, and they share kids. Kelly and Beth are sisters. It's time to act like it. But bless Steffy, at least the first thing she did was call Finn. Even Steffy knows that trying to keep Liam's brain bleed a secret is beyond ridiculous. I'm pretty sure she rolled her eyes when Liam asked her to do it. Liam telling Steffy to keep his literal brain bleed under wraps is the pinnacle of Liam logic. This man has just thrown himself out of his family and his business, face planted on the pavement, not once, but twice, and still thinks he can control the narrative. Buddy, you're in the ICU, concussed, broke, and probably living in a cardboard box right now. This is not the moment to be the man behind the curtain. This is a GoFundMe waiting to happen. Let's not kid ourselves here. He's not trying to protect anyone, he's just embarrassed. He stormed off at Bill, made his dramatic exit, and now he's slurping Jell-O through a straw while Steffy scrubs blood off Bill's driveway. The only thing he's trying to hide is that he went full soap opera martyr, and karma hit him like a frying pan. And now he wants Steffy, STFFY, of all people, to keep the secret. Steffy, who's been cleaning up his messes since 2009. Yeah, okay. You don't get to ghost your whole family, then demand someone else handle your PR while you're in recovery. Liam should be counting his blessings, not trying to control the optics. This is all about pride. Liam didn't just fall from grace. He tripped over his own ego and landed in the ER. Oh, finally, Steffy. Took her long enough. Honestly, it's about time Steffy called Finn. She should have done that the second she walked into the hospital with Liam. Her last-minute decisions are seriously starting to make me lose my patience. Like, what even was that? She doesn't call anyone, especially her husband, who's literally a doctor at that very hospital. Then Bill Spencer waltzes in like it's just a regular Tuesday. Sure, makes total sense. Of course, the writers had to create that little bubble with Steffy and Liam, showcasing their undying love, or whatever. But seriously, who's going to pretend it wasn't odd that it took her so long to make a phone call? And the best part? She casually says, "The kids are fine." Oh really? How does she know that? I mean, sure, because she's totally psychic. The nose, and everything else. So I'm really hoping Carter finally figures out that Daphne was just there to seduce him. Maybe then the misogyny will stop coming from inside the house, because this show gets annoying so fast. What I'm actually hoping will happen next. Brooke stops sniffing around the homeless-looking guy who calls Hope a slut. Maybe she'll go back to Bill, or, someone interesting for a change. Hope starts her own line or a coffee shop, becomes wildly successful, and completely forgets Steffy even exists. It's time for Hope to level up and move on. Luna gets with Will, but plot twist, she has a pregnancy scare. At the same time, Elektra has one too. I'd be here for this soapy cheesiness. Elektra is kind of boring, honestly, so let's spice it up a bit. Sorry, not sorry. Sheila and Luna team up and cause absolute chaos. Honestly, anything to get away from the Steffy show, because that girl is in every storyline. Finn finally grows a spine. Taylor stops wearing those atrocious shoes and, in a shocking turn of events, runs away with Ridge. Poof, gone. Let's never see her again. Your turn, folks. I'm really hoping Brooke moves on with someone else, even if it's just a fling. We all know she always goes back to Ridge, but it'd be hilarious to watch him get jealous and Taylor lose her mind. Oh, and throw in Brooke and Bill rekindling something? That would send Steffy and Ridge into a tailspin. Hope absolutely needs to get over her old line. She has prior success and name recognition. No reason she can't start her own thing, or at least land a gig at a competing fashion house. It would be great to see her doing something other than fashion, but regardless, I want her to be a total boss on her own terms. Can we get a break from Steffy? She's been on top for too long. It's time for her to fall flat on her face. Let's see her struggle for once. A little humility never hurt anyone. Taylor needs to go. Seriously, she brings nothing to the table, and her chemistry with Ridge is non-existent. Let's just end that chapter. I'm actually excited to see what Luna and Sheila get up to together. They have amazing chemistry, and they could totally shake things up. Also, let's bring Nick back, with Jack, obviously, and have him and Brooke get back together. Brooke cashes out of FC, and she and Hope start their own thing. Maybe even Rick comes back to work with his mom and sister. And you know Ridge would dump Taylor the second Brooke shows the slightest interest in Nick. Because heaven forbid Brooke actually move on, right? Oh, and Brooke wants nothing to do with Ridge after how he treated Hope. Let's bring Thorne back and have him rekindle his romance with Taylor. Ridge will be absolutely infuriated, as per usual. Eric retires. He and Donna ride off into the sunset, leaving Ridge and Steffy to ruin Forrester Creations. Bill swoops in, buys the company from a desperate Ridge for pennies on the dollar, pun definitely intended. Finn finally dumps Steffy because he finally sees her for who she really is. And then Ridge and Steffy are left alone, miserable, just as they deserve. Can you believe we're actually saying Liam is a better man than Carter now? Look, I've come around on Liam, but that only happened because he had to grow. We watched him grudgingly accept Finn, slowly find his spine when it came to his father, and finally face the consequences of his actions on his birthday. All of that growth came after he was an awful person to both Hope and Steffy. Remember when he slept with Steffy after seeing Thomas kiss a mannequin and couldn't even confront his wife about it? Or when he kissed Steffy in Rome after she gave him a kind shoulder? And let's not even get started on the other things he did before the divorce. Now, comparing all of that to Carter, who kissed some French person, and, by the way, didn't even initiate it, then immediately told Hope about it, despite not standing by her when it counted, like the 50 other times he should have defended her, and even calling out Deacon. Suddenly, Deacon's right about Liam being the better man. Oh, and let's not forget, every time Brooke said something about Liam, Hope would ignore it, but the second her dad says something, she starts considering it. Please, don't try to sell this whole Liam's a new man narrative. He's only a better character because he had to face his own flaws. They're both trash, just like Ridge. I love Liam, but the comparison being made here is just plain wrong, especially when Deacon seems to think Carter kissing someone else, which, by the way, Hope did to Liam, is somehow worse than Liam cheating on Hope with Steffy, and vice versa. It's just terrible writing. So, where exactly are Eric Jr. and Maya? Didn't they adopt a kid and then ride off into some soap opera black hole? Now that Maya's on Beyond the Gates, I'm just dying to know when they're going to bring her and her little Forrester kid back into the mix. Oh, and speaking of Maya, did you hear that Rick and Maya got a divorce? It was a blink and you miss it mention when Maya returned a few years ago, and then, poof, she was gone again. Honestly, I'm still wondering why they haven't recast Rick. I mean, come on, he's Brooke and Eric's son. It makes zero sense to just pretend he doesn't exist. Imagine how much fun it would have been to have him weigh in on this whole takeover drama. He's both a Forrester and a Logan, but yeah, I'm sure it won't happen. Jacob Young bailed on the show after they shoved him into the recurring character category and couldn't be bothered to give him anything to do. What a shocker, right? And really, can you blame him? With the current writing team, I can't imagine them suddenly figuring out how to make that character interesting. With B&B, characters just vanish into thin air without even a goodbye. Seriously, where's RJ? His parents aren't even together anymore, and his sisters Hope and Steffy are at war. What's up with Thorne, Felicia, and Kristen? Hello, their dad, Eric, is losing Forrester, and their brother and niece are all over the place. Oh, and don't forget Wyatt. Where is he to call out Bill on his latest erratic behavior? And yeah, where's Brooke and Eric's son when all this mess is going down? His mom is living at Forrester, while the rest of the family splits, and he's nowhere to be seen. Classic B&B. 1 minute you're in the show, and the next, your character just vanishes into the other. It's a real dream job, isn't it? So, here's a twist. This is probably the last show I thought I'd get into. The first episode that actually grabbed my attention was when they were in Europe, Greece, I think. Since then, I've been hooked. Now, here's the big question. Is there a box set that starts from season 1? Like, all the way to season 36? Or even a streaming service that has the missing seasons? I found seasons 1 and 2 on Plex, but after that, it's like the episodes vanish into thin air. The current season is still airing, so it's not like I'm asking for the moon here. For now, I've been relying on YouTube for the old episodes. It's a bit of a scavenger hunt, though. You have to track down the episode numbers to watch in order. Super easy, right? But hey, it works. Honestly, it would be impossible to release every episode on DVD. What do you think of the show, though? Ever gotten into any other soap operas? There was, however, an international DVD set that came out in the early 2000s, covering the first 20 or 30 episodes. So that's the thing if you're into relics. But don't hold your breath for full seasons on DVD, considering there are like 250 plus episodes a year. Yeah, that would be a challenge. But the silver lining? Their YouTube channel is a goldmine. They've been adding tons of episodes from the 2005 plus years, and they finally uploaded shows from the 90s to 2004. It's honestly glorious, even if it means you have to do a little detective work to figure out the right episode numbers or storyline dates. Trust me, it's worth the effort. Hope's out here painting herself as some tragic, unsupported soul, and it's honestly getting tiring. Yeah, she keeps saying no one's there for her when it counts, which, conveniently, only seems to matter when something goes wrong after the fact. But it's hard to listen to that when so many people have been supporting her. She just doesn't seem to care about it. Let's start with Brooke, who's been practically living her life on Hope's behalf. Brooke's been letting Hope crash at her place, covering a lot of her expenses, and taking care of her kids, which, by the way, Hope hasn't even mentioned since she started dating Carter. Funny, right? Brooke's been doing all this, even after losing her job, and all Hope does is act like nobody's there for her. Then there's Thomas. The guy stood by Hope when she was going through her divorce from Liam, was there emotionally when Liam got accused of murder, and even sacrificed his friendship to tell the truth that would convict his best friend just so Hope wouldn't have to suffer. And Carter, Don't even get me started. From the moment they got together, he's been defending Hope's line, despite its failures, and constantly talking to In+Steffy to get her rehired for 2 months. As soon as he became manager, he reinstated HFTF, hired Brooke as CEO to make Hope happy, and defended her every chance he got. Let's not forget Liam. Even after their divorce, he's still stepping up, taking care of the kids so Hope can focus on herself, despite juggling double duty at his job because Bill's too busy being Bill. There are so many other characters, some who are on her side, and some who aren't, but they've all been there for her, and yet Hope insists no one supports her. It's almost like the writers want us to believe that Hope's some sort of unappreciated martyr. Why? Why take a character who's already been through so much and drag her down even further, making her unlikable? I get that Hope saying no one's supporting her right now, but even that's a stretch. Liam's a single dad, so he's doing what any decent person would do, taking care of his responsibilities. But that doesn't equate to going above and beyond to actually support someone who's struggling. It's just frustrating to see Hope act like nobody cares when so many people clearly have her back.